Hi and welcome back. Today I will be canning tomato juice. I hope you enjoy this video. Like and subscribe if you want more. Hey, good morning everyone. So, Jessica here with the vlog Mama Blaze ×3, and I am canning tomato juice today, so I wanted to show you everything we had to do. And I've got to wash all the stuff because I also keep it out in another building that's like clean, but still I like to wash it all up. So this right here is what you're going to have to start with. It's called a Foley mill, and they turn. This is some basil I got from my garden. I'm going to try to make some homemade tomato soup too today out of the tomatoes. You'll need a ladle, canning funnel, and a couple big pots, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to wash them and I'll show you what we do from there. Okay, so I got those washed up. I went ahead and cleaned out my sink with some bleach, wiped it down, scrubbed it up so there's nothing in the sink, and then I'll show you what we are doing. So I did take these tomatoes. I have 2 things of them, and I took them last night, and I took them out of the where I picked them out of the garden, and I rinsed them off, but they still need cleaned off a little bit more. So I'll show you how many I have. So I have all these, and I'll show you. We're just going to cut out some bad parts. I'll show you how I can these. I will be keeping a colander beside me because there's no sense in wasting the good tomato tops and bottoms. I've got rabbits and ducks, and they are going to enjoy it. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, and ignore my dishwasher over here, I've got some stuff to can here, is you don't have to do this. And like I said, I washed this out and it was just rinsing. Is I just spray a little bit of oil in there. It does not hurt it. It keeps it from sticking. And it always depends on what type of tomato they're using, as long as you're stirring. So I just got a wooden cutting board here, and I'll show you how we cut the tomatoes. Okay, so I have the tomatoes, and I like to put them in the sink so I know that they are clean, and I rinse them off when I need to. So I cut these tops off. Now if this top wasn't so bad I wouldn't have to, but rabbits will still eat that, so I save that and put it in a bowl. And then, so I just make sure there's no rotten spots in the tomatoes, and I just chunk them up. That's pretty simple. That's all you have to do. And then I will have my pot here, and you will just throw them in. Something else I wanted to tell you, you don't always have to cut this off when you are putting them to cook. And like this one I just did in 4s, is because if it's not in too bad a shape, then there is no need to cut them off. Now this, as you can tell, is going to have that. So what I'm going to do is go with the tomato, and this one is just really ripe. And as you see, I cut pretty much all that off. A little bit there. Well, there's a little bit. So even if your tomato is a little bit rotten when you're making juice, like it's not all the way, and as you can see there's no brown throughout that, then you just keep it. I try to chop it into 4s, and that's what I do. So like this one has just a little spot right here, so we're going to cut it. And then since the top is pretty good, we don't need to cut the whole top off, and there's no brown. We just cut it out like that. And I do know that I do want to keep some of these tomatoes, which I'll go to the garden. I'm sure I have enough in the garden, so I'm going to can these. But I'm sure I have enough in the garden to make my tomato soup, and I will share that recipe with you in a different video. Right now we are just canning tomato juice. I've had a lot of even people on my Facebook group and friends on Facebook asking me how to can, and instead of telling you, it's just easier to show you. And this juice on this tray, when you're canning, do not dump this down the drain. You can, as it gets a lot, dump it in your pot, because that's what you're wanting. And this pot may be too big for what I have today, as you can tell. So there is, that one was pretty bad on the top, but I mean, it's not bad enough where the rabbits and ducks just won't pick at it. So like I said, don't waste your tomato scraps that you're just cutting now. Like this one, my tomatoes all of a sudden started to splitting. We had some very hot weather for almost a month, and then we got a bunch of rain, and it's just how it is. So I'm gonna take the juice and dump it in the pot. And then, now there was like this one last night. I didn't want to throw it out yet, but I kept it away from the other tomatoes because I wanted to look, because this is when I get concerned. So I just want to see how far, and it wasn't that far, as you can tell. So you just cut it off, and yep, that's what you do.
Can't forget the day we met. Your eyes so blue, me piercing through. I can't forget the day we met. Your smile so bright, it made me swoon. Our love is like a summer's day, hot and endless in a magic way. Whenever I see you, all I can think is my son.
I've got the tomatoes in the pot. A little bit overkill. I got too big of a pot. And I'll bring it over to my stove, which I have a 3-burner stove. And I like 3 of the burners. I have a big one there. And so we'll let these cook. And then this big old paddle, because you're going to need it to stir. And normally there isn't that many, there's a way more tomatoes than this. And they stick. My grandma had this made for me. So, yep. So I'll show you what it looks like during the cooking process. Okay, so I just wanted to show you, I've had it on the stove for about 10 minutes. And I'm stirring it to make sure it doesn't stick on the bottom. And this is what it's starting to look like. So the tomatoes are starting to soften up. And yeah, it's doing what it needs to be doing. This is cooking. Here are the ducks. While the tomato juice is cooking, I am going to go check the garden, see if I have any more tomatoes. I don't know that I do, but we will see. And then I probably won't work those up today. I just wanted to see how much I had. And the kids are inside. Middle one, he just woke up, so I'm having him sit with his brother. And the oldest one just started his homeschooling today. Well, actually we started a couple weeks ago, but he is working in math. So here we're out in the garden. And I'm just looking for any red tomatoes. Like this one isn't quite red enough. Our garden went from, when we get a lot of rain, we can't get in here and work. And my husband just weeded this a couple weeks ago. Some of these I don't want to pick yet because I don't think they're quite ready. This one looks quite ready. But yeah, our garden is just a little bit of a mess. The onions grew over, so we gotta plow them under. These 3 rows, they look like a mess, but they're potatoes. They're about to die off, so hopefully we have a lot of potatoes. Some of these over here are yellow tomato plants and they're not ripening yet. I love to eat those. This looks like a different one. My husband and I can't figure out what this tomato plant is. We think it's a little bit different. Here's the guy. This one looks ready. And then this one over here, it's ready. These might be, some of these might be yellow that got mixed in. Yeah, not too many tomatoes are ripe right now. And normally I have like 60 and I only have, or 70 and I only have like 30 plants this year. So I'm going to go show you the other garden real quick while I'm out here. So we got our corn. As you can tell, our garden gets so wet up here because rain is crazy where we live. So cucumbers, I picked them. There's not enough canned cucumbers, but when I do, I will show you how I did those. I should have recorded it the other day. But my beans, look at them. So let's see. My husband said there's some starting to grow. Like he's seen them the other day. I didn't. But I know there's some in here. Just can't remember. Oh, right here. They're not ready yet, but they're starting to grow. So behind me is the corn. We like to freeze it, but just sometimes the corn just don't do the greatest. Here's an ear. Now this has been giving me a fit where we can't get in and it gets so wet, but I'm going to be making sauerkraut. I've got around 16 heads. If I need to, I'll go buy some more. I got peppers and I'm kind of waiting because I'm going to make one batch of salsa. And don't want to do anything with those yet. And I just picked them last night. So first row is all banana peppers, which are sweet, a bunch of jalapenos, and they only had 3 bell pepper plants left. 1, 2, 3, no 4. That's all for the garden. Now to go back inside and check the juice and make sure the kids are doing their schoolwork and to go from there. So the tomato juice is starting to cook down. It's still not ready. Okay, so this is ready to take off the stove. As you can see, it's really hot, but it's not going to cook down anymore. Very hot. Okay, so what we're going to do first is I wanted to show you this. It's a Foley mill. I have it attached to my smaller clean pot, and we will scoop out the juice, as you can see, and put it in here. And I'll show you how to do that. So we're going to scoop out the juice, and you will just stir this. I need to bring in my tripod. And sometimes that happens, so I've got to reconnect that. Okay, so what I'm doing is, you will see, is the tomato juice. You just continue to stir. I think I got it right. Sometimes these things fall off on the bottom. Ignore my bad hair. Okay. Again, this just doesn't seem like it wants to tighten up. Normally my husband would be here, and that's hot, and he would tighten it up for me. So we're going to add more. I don't dump out the juice yet, and I'll just fill this up to the top. And you want to make sure you hold on to the Foley mill because sometimes they'll fall off the pot. I used to have a bigger one. So as you can see here, it's all full. And I'm just going to work these up. I know the baby, he's a little fussy, so I'm going to have to get to him. But once I start this, I can't quit. And I'll show you one thing I do. So I grab a wooden spoon and you kind of break this up because it gets stuck under the blades. So it gets stuck. So you've got to continue to smash it. Alright, so the other Foley mail kept coming apart. So I'm going to have my husband look at it. So I had to go get my antique one, which actually works better. So I had to clean it out. It's old. But we'll see where we can go from there because I wasn't going to deal with it breaking apart the entire time. And although I just scrubbed my kitchen counter, I'm probably going to have to do it again. Put that over there for now. Okay, so we'll work this down. Oh, that's even better. And you got to put a lot of elbow grease into it, because as you can see, the juice is pouring out of the bottom. So we're going to smash it some more, and we're going to finish getting this, and we will show you where I'm at. So when you're checking to see if your juice is doing what it needs to be, and if you're done with the pills, you continue to do that, like start. But what you need to do is take your wooden spoon and just continue to smash down, because what happens is the Foley mill won't turn at all. So as you can see here, there's not too much juice left. There's a little bit, and I'm trying to work it out. Sometimes it's almost impossible, at least for me. My husband can do it, to get it all out. This is ready to be put on the burner, which is what I did. So I am adding some salt and pepper. I like a lot of pepper in it, and I like to season it now. And you gotta think that's a big batch. And you don't have to add that much pepper, but the salt is what helps it. And a little bit of salt. This is just iodine salt. And the salt is what helps it preserve. Now I have canning salt, but I don't like to add canning salt to my tomato juice. And it should still. And this little spoon I was smashing with, you're just going to take and you're going to stir. So I'll show you what this looks like when it's finished. The juice over there cooking, I've got 4 cleaned. I know it doesn't look like it, but this is an old jar. Quart jars. These are the Atlas. I love the Atlas. And something I wanted to show you is these new lids. Now they say there's the Sure-Tite, which is the newest one, and this is last year's. Now they're saying not to boil the Sure-Tite, so I don't know, but I'm going to go ahead and use the old ones that don't have this red or have the, there's a ribbon too. So what I'm going to do is take these. I've got a pot here, fill it up with water. And I'm going to go ahead and do 5 just in case I might be able to get a pint. So I'm going to count out 5 lids. 4, 5. And these I'll put back for later. So I've got 5 lids here, and I'm going to put them on to boil. Eating breakfast for the kids. Not the healthiest, but they like it. Alright, so as you see right here, we have this foam coming up. So I just have this container I was going to throw away anyways. So what you do is take it and dump it off, because it's water that's coming to the top and it's got to come off. Okay, so other than stirring this a little bit more and taking off the top, and you're always going to get it's ready. And the lids are ready. I'll show you what we're going to do. So I've got the pot. I like to set it in my sink. I've got a clean tea towel here. I'll show you what. You need to get it wet and wring it out. Then I'm going to stir the juice. Then we need the pot. And thank goodness for aprons. The kids are back there. Jordan's eating his breakfast. He's doing his homeschooling. And, all right, so what we're going to do first is take our funnel, put it on the mason jar, and it will get hot. So I have another rag here. We're going to take the juice and put it in the spoon. And so when you fill this jar up, you're going to want to fill it to about here for the head space. And I'm hoping there's just a little bit left over so I can have me a cup of juice for lunch. Which I should put it in tomato juice, but I love it when it's like fresh off the stove. Now my husband likes to take these jars and put them in the freezer after they've cooled, like older tomato juice jars, not in the freezer but in the fridge. Okay, so we move that one to another jar. We take our clean one, we wipe down the rim, and hold on, yeah. So normally I have a magnet, but I didn't bring my magnet in, so I'm just using a pair of tongs. Now these are, remember, these are the ones that are not the new SureTight. The new ones you got to just rinse off with very hot water. So what I'm going to do is put the lid on and tighten it up. So give me a second. And when it's hot, and then I will move the jar out of my way for now. You don't want to move it and disturb it too much. I'm going to move the rings and sills over. And I might not get 4 quarts. I only get like 2.5. I might get a pint. But it just depends. Like I said, you don't want to overfill your jar. Okay, so that's enough. So here's my issue. I don't think I have enough for a pint or a quart, but I have some clean pint jars. So I'm going to use 2 quarts out of the way that are clean. We will take our pint and we'll put this in there. We're going to clean our jar. This is a very important step. Jake, would you go get me 2 bath towels on laundry, please? Then you put your lid on. Then you tighten it. And then this is the last. And I like to do quarts. You can do pints. You can do whatever sizes you want. Set them here for now. Okay. And I don't know that I'm going to have enough to drink. It's okay. Okay, so I got the rest in the ladle. I might let me get a cup. And I like to add a little bit of extra salt and pepper. So I just have a little bit left. So if there's a little bit left in there, you can drink it like that. I'm going to drink it. And I'll fill up my pot with water. And I'll put that in there. And then we're going to wipe off our final jar. Now these other rings, since they're not used, they are still good. You just put them back in the box. Make sure you put them back in the right box. Then I'll show you what else we have to do. So I've got a towel here. And what I like to do is fold it like that. Move the jars over because this is where they'll set. So I'll just lay the towel down. You want to make it where the baby can't grab it. Okay. Then we take our mason jars and you put them in here. Whew, hot. And then we will take another bath towel, and they've got to be clean, of course. I like to do the bath towels because they're big. And you will cover it up. And you're going to tuck it in. See? So, and you're going to tuck it in, and there you go. So stay tuned for more canning recipes. I will put the link to the blog post in here. That way you all can read it too.